I think we're good to go. So this is Lasers, Dragons, and Keyboards, and I am Liberty Spido.
I'm Josh Hart.
I'm Aaron DeMott.
And today we have with us young adult and sci-fi author Becky Dean. Becky Dean is a fan of adventures, both real and fictional. When she's not writing or traveling, she can be found drinking tea, watching science fiction shows or Jane Austen adaptations, or quoting The Lord of the Rings. Though she's a proud Baylor grad and lives in Texas with her husband, she remains a Southern California girl at heart. Becky, thank you for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So we're going to get right into the questions.
Suppose we'll have to forgive you for the Jane Austen thing.
Hey, I love Jane Austen too. So,
Now, quick rabbit trail here. Josh, do you like Jane Austen or not?
I like the adaptations that include monsters.
So, in other words, that's a no. I'm seeing a clear uh, commonality here between those who do and don't so far.
People who appreciate fine literature and those who don't.
No.
well, I mean, that actually kind of leads me into a good first question. Your first book just released a few months ago, and I'm reading it right now, and I am blanking on the name, of course, in the middle of our show. But you feature classic English literature in the book. How did you come up with the idea for the quest in the book?
Yeah, so it's called Love and Other Great Expectations.
That's right.
And Liberty mentioned it's a girl on a literary themed scavenger hunt across England, and it's actually the 5th book I ever wrote, but the first contemporary. And I thought I would try a contemporary after writing some science fiction and fantasy, and because I love the quest model in most speculative fiction, I thought a road trip style trip, a contemporary, would be the fun way to go. And I just sort of had the idea, thinking it would be fun to visit sites that novels took place. And when I was brainstorming the book, I was looking at American literature, and then I thought, why am I looking at American literature? I don't even like most American literature. Let's move to England. Everything's better in England, and I love literature.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got about 2 hours left in the audiobook. I'm loving it. Uh, so so we'll go ahead with our regular first main question. So Becky, what is your name? What is your quest? And what is your favorite color?
Yes, my name is Becky Dean. My quest is to write adventurous books that take people on fun journeys and let them escape the real world for a little while. And my favorite color, I guess you would call it tropical ocean blue.
Okay, that's
Cool.
a different one.
Yeah,
Basically, you see a picture of a tropical ocean and there's any shade of blue, and it makes me think I'm in somewhere the beach. It's great.
that makes. Uh, so from Love and Other Great Expectations, what's your favorite scene and what's your favorite character?
Favorite scene, it's probably one of the humor scenes. There's a place where my character visits the Roman baths in Bath, England. And I got to visit. Everybody's laughing. I actually got to visit Bath while I was preparing to write the book, and as soon as I saw it, I knew my character was going to have to fall in. So spoiler alert. There was a little guard there wearing a vest, and I thought, good, I can ask him about it. And so I went up and I asked him, does anybody ever fall in? What happens? And he was so hilarious that as soon as he finished talking, I pulled out my notebook and wrote down pretty much word for word his answer, and it makes it into the book. And so while there are many scenes I love in the book, that was probably one of my favorites.
So there's a bath scene in the book. Okay, so there's a content warning for our younger listeners.
It's actually one of the cleanest romance books I've read in a long, long time. It is one.
I'm kidding, obviously.
Very PG. Oh, my favorite character. Obviously, I love my main characters, but I also really love Al. She's the British 20-something chaperone who's stuck babysitting a American teenager for a week, and she really just wants to be left alone with her book to read, and so it's.
I feel so sorry for her.
Yeah.
Honestly,
very sarcastic
yeah. Honestly, I would love to see a spin-off novella of just Al, because she is my favorite character.
I've heard that a lot. I think if I ever branch out into adult romance, she'll get a story. So
Nice.
I would like that. She's a good character, even though she's not on screen very much.
All right, Aaron, ask something.
I was just getting to that before you interrupted me. So, editing, what does your editing process look like?
Yeah, I'm not a hardcore outliner, but I definitely write a loose outline before I start, so all the main scenes and the ending, and then I write a really rough draft that usually ends up only being about half of the total word length, and so the first round of edits is just, my first draft is kind of half draft, half outline, and then the first round of edits will be going back and filling in any scenes I wasn't quite sure what to do with, and I just summarized and skipped over. And then I do many, many rounds on my own before anyone gets to see it. I think at this point I've written so many books that I kind of know what it needs for the most part, and I don't want anybody to see one of those terrible drafts that still has holes and things that I know I could fix. And so
we gotta find one and leak it.
Yeah, I live in fear of somebody discovering a laptop, like if I die and they find my laptop with unfinished drafts. So usually several rounds. I usually end up with 3 or 4 drafts worth of edits before I'll show anyone. So, nice. And I'm big on spreadsheets to keep track of things. So.
I need to start using spreadsheets so badly, especially when I'm like 7 books deep into this series.
That sounds a lot more organized than my process.
I know, right? So, Becky, I know you've got the next book in the sort of pseudo trilogy coming out next spring, but you've also got a sci-fi coming out. When is that coming out, and what is it about?
Yeah, I don't have an exact release date. I think in January. So my next book out will be, I have a 4-book space opera series coming out with Aethon Books. And the first one, they'll all release in 2023. And so the first one will probably be January. I'm just finishing up book 4 right now. And then, yeah, like you mentioned, they're all standalones, but my YA romances are all travel themed. And so the second one will be out next summer. And then I'm also finishing up the third one that'll be out in 2024.
Nice.
So,
and then,
go ahead.
Since we're more sci-fi oriented than YA romance oriented, why don't you tell us a little bit about the sci-fi series?
Yeah, so the first one is about a smuggler and a spy, and they're on opposite sides of a brewing galactic revolution. And they're tracking a rogue agent across the galaxy who has information that could expose them both and start a war. And so the whole series is, there's 4 books, and each book has 2 new main characters, but they all appear in all 4 books. And so by the last book, like you said, the spreadsheets were essential, keeping track of 8 main characters, plus all the side characters, plus all the planets, and it's very planet hopping. There's a system of colorful wormholes, let them travel 3 empires with multiple colonies, and so there's lots of action. And because I like a little bit of romance and banter, there's also some romance and some snarky banter, and it was a lot of fun.
Through the brown wormhole.
There's the first one is a smuggler and a spy, and then the second one is a space pirate and a hacker. And then the third one is a professional athlete and a soldier, and then the fourth one is a diplomat and a saboteur.
Nice.
Very cool.
And what's the first title, and is it on pre-order yet?
It is not pre-order yet. It's the first one. You'll be the first to officially hear it. The first one is called Rogue Pursuit.
Ooh. Exclusive.
So the series is called Shades of Starlight, and I have all the covers, and we'll be doing a cover reveal probably in November. The publisher does pre-orders about 2 months out. So
let us know. We'll post some of those cover reveals on the page when we're ready.
Definitely.
So, with the travel romance, I know you mentioned that you went to Bath. Are a lot of the books set in places that you've visited personally, so you could have that actual in-person like research, as it were?
Yeah, they actually all are. So England, I got to visit right before I started writing, and then my editor wanted a second one. It was during the pandemic, and so there was not really much chance to travel anywhere. And I picked Maui for the second one. It's a place I've been several times for fun and for my job, so it was a place I felt confident I could write about well enough without getting to go back in person. And then the same for the third one. The third one that I'm writing now is set on an Alaskan cruise, which my husband and I did a few years ago.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
Very cool. Yeah.
Also, I have a question that's not on the sheet here. So you're right, clean YA romance that's set in Bath. Was that pun on purpose or not?
It's not set in Bath. It's set all over England. There just happens to be a scene in Bath. If you've been there, it's not clean at all. The Bath part.
So she has deliberately avoided the question about the pun, if you'll notice.
All right, go for question 5, somebody.
Okay. So Becky, we have the dreaded marketing question. So what does your marketing process look like, and how is it differing between the different books for what your plan is with the YA versus the sci-fi?
We need some dun-dun-dun music to go along with that question.
Hey, I like how voice mod.
Yeah, I need to find the right sound clip then.
I like how you assume I have a plan.
Oh, you use the same marketing director I do. Okay.
I mean, you did do the book party, when your book released at the bookstore, so...
Yeah, so the good thing about the romances is that they're with a Big Four imprint, and so they do a lot of the major marketing, trade reviews and bookstore placements and things like that. A lot of what I did was just sort of for fun. I did a pre-order campaign with some goodies that if you ordered or requested at the library, you got a bookmark and stickers and bookplate, things like that. And then I did signed copies through my local indie bookstore and a launch party the day it released, just for friends and family to come and kind of celebrate. And then I also, because I'm a big fan of libraries, reached out to all of the libraries in my area, and I've actually already done 2 visits and have 2 more planned with some teen groups at libraries to talk just the book and writing. And then mostly just kind of trying to stay active on social media and interact with other young adult authors, like that. I'm hoping this fall has been a little busy trying to finish writing 2 books. After those are done, I'm going to try to reach out to some more things like podcasts and some blogs and stuff like that.
Okay. Do you...
I was going to say, nobody asked how it differed. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm waiting till I have the pre-order link for the first science fiction book. Probably that publisher focuses more on Kindle Unlimited ebooks and audio and print, so probably just more reaching out to other sci-fi writers, getting some ARC readers to read advanced copies and talk about the book and things like that.
Excellent. Do you, what social media do you use most frequently in terms of marketing? And where have you found the most success?
I'm mostly on Instagram. Twitter just has so much to wade through that I've not been on that as much. But Instagram, there's a great community of readers. I like the photo aspect. And it's been super fun. I've been so grateful for all the readers who have posted pictures, people I don't even know who liked the book and tagged me. And that's been one of the most exciting things since the first book came out, was just having people tag me on Instagram that the book and liked it, and so that's mostly where I hang out. I can't get into the video thing yet.
Very cool.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of authors going over to TikTok and have seen a lot of success, but I understand. I overwhelmed marketing ideas and never know where to start, so.
Yeah.
I'm by no means an expert, but trying to do the things that I think sound fun and that just kind of let you connect with readers the best.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm gonna roll a d6, and then Aaron, you can ask the next question.
Uh-oh.
And we have a 6.
You're in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you want me to ask the question even though you rolled? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to ask this question, and I was going to... No, the question is, what is your favorite book? So, that one's impossible to answer, so...
Yeah, that one is impossible to answer. It kind of depends on the mood, right? I list a few favorites.
Yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely.
It just depending on the mood and the genre. Like I mentioned with Jane Austen, I love Pride and Prejudice. One of my absolute favorites is a young adult fantasy called The Scorpio Races. And I really love Brandon Sanderson, so either his new Skyward series or The Way of Kings. And I love some classic C.S. Lewis. Probably my favorite would be Paralandra.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Very good one. You don't hear that on a lot of lists. So
I actually haven't read any C.S. Lewis, so
What? None?
no, none. I think I've got a copy of Mere Christianity, but
All right, I
haven't
gotta hang up now and
read
drive
it.
down to a certain state, kidnap
yeah,
somebody, and make her read some C.S. Lewis.
It's not from a lack of interest. It's just I just haven't got around to it yet. So,
But he writes so much, both in nonfiction and fiction, that you need. Well, okay, in the nonfiction side, you need to read some C.S. Lewis. On the fiction side, you really, really, really should.
it's not again not lack of interest. It's just I haven't got around to it yet. So
fair
I mean, a
enough.
few good audiobook adaptations apparently.
All right,
Yeah.
we need to have a kidnap Liberty and force her to do some things she ought to day.
Hey,
We finally did make her watch Back to the Future eventually. What was the other movie we were going to force her to watch that she hasn't seen? I forget now.
I don't know.
I
Josh
can't.
is making me read or making me watch Atla right now. So
Oh yeah, you
Yep.
definitely have to watch that for sure. Have you seen that, Becky?
I have not. I've tried so many of the really great animated shows like that one or Clone Wars, and I just can't get into the animated shows. I hate myself for it because I know there's so many great ones.
And that's
yeah,
fair enough.
That sounds
I
like
just
my
finished.
mom. She doesn't like anything animated.
I
Kinda like,
actually just finished Star Wars Rebels, and it was amazing. Story was wonderful. So
Yeah,
I need
I've
to
heard there's
watch.
so many great ones. I
I
just
need
need
to watch
to.
the rest of
yeah,
that. I've seen like the first season, maybe 2 seasons of Rebels.
there's only 4 seasons.
I
If
think
you count
I
them
think I
this
have
way.
them all on DVD. I just haven't watched them yet.
Fair enough. So that kind of segues into the next random question.
Oh, can I roll? Can I roll? Can I?
You can roll for the third
Okay.
one. Who is your captain? Can be any captain from literature or sci-fi, spec fic, whatever.
Yeah, 100% Picard.
Yeah. Another person of good taste.
Knowing you, Becky and I are friends outside of the podcast, but I honestly sort of expected Mal Reynolds or Han Solo.
Yeah, it's really funny because when Josh sent me the possible questions, my first thought was Picard, and then I thought, no, wait, slow down. Think about every show that you like, every movie, and I was like, Captain Solo. Han Solo's great. I love Firefly, but then you just come back to if you were really going to trust someone to lead your ship, like, how do you
That's
pick
true.
any of the others? Like, he is just the epitome of competence.
Oh, geez,
This is true.
we're on a slight rabbit trail, but slightly related. We were watching Voyager last night, and we got to an episode with the Vidians, and they're like, "Oh, but they're sending out a distress call. We have to stop and help them." I'm like, "No! You roll the windows up, you lock the doors, you keep on going. Do not know." I know it's a distress call. It's probably a trap, considering them. This will not end well. It actually was a pretty good episode, though. But all right, randomly rolling a dice. 5. Does anybody else want to actually ask that then, since I rolled, or
Liberty.
if we're doing that this way?
So Becky, what music gets your words flowing, or do you need silence to be able to write?
I am a silence person. I'm not, like, I can't even write in coffee shops because if there's people around, I'll watch them. So it's quiet and my house by myself.
That works. I have those moods, but I can kind of go to either extreme. So it either has to be quiet or I have to have distractions.
Yep.
I wish I was one of those fun. Lots of young adult authors will put together playlists for their books, and I just am not. I guess I don't know enough music, and I need silence when I write, so I don't have anything that gets me in the mood for a scene or anything. So
yeah. So a lot of romance authors do that too. So
Yeah. And I've heard the same thing that it kind of depends on what you're writing, um, what kind of atmosphere you need to have. So you've kind of given us a little bit of what's up next for you. So I guess we leave it with where can we learn or where can we go to learn more about you and your body of work?
Yeah, like you mentioned,
The
Instagram.
internet.
Exactly. You can find all things. Instagram's probably what I keep updated the most. There's a link tree on there with ones that are up for pre-order where you can get fun stuff like signed copies or a book box that my first book is currently in. And then I'll update it as soon as I have like the covers and the release date for the science fiction. I'm at Becky Dean Writes. And also the website beckydeanwrites.com. It's pretty basic, but I keep all of the updates on there too.
We'll try and have those linked in the description here eventually.
I usually do make a point about doing that. So
yeah, I try to on YouTube and Twitch both. So and where else this is. Yeah.
So, well, Becky, it's been a blast having you on the show. So we're really happy that you were able to make time for it. So next time you have your next release out with the sci-fi, let's plan on having you back.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
thanks for having me, and thanks for the support.
Yeah, no problem.
It was great having you here. So for our listeners, we'll and I guess for Becky's information too, we'll have this up on YouTube, VOD
Shortly.
here in the next here as soon as we can.
Yep.
So
and then Josh, we have another guest coming up. We have her scheduled as well. Who we've got? Who do we have next? And when are we going live with that?
So coming up in 2 weeks, so that would be what would that be? The 8th. The 8th of October. We have Dawn Hill Shipman, and she's going to talk about the second book in her first series, and called Quest of the Queen. So,
so that'll be something to look
that.
forward. Yeah, that'll be something for everybody to look forward to. So, Becky, thanks again for coming on the show, and everybody else. So thanks for your support and listening to Lasers, Dragons, and Keyboards, and bearing with us as we've been through an extended hiatus off in the last couple of years. But we're looking to get back in the saddle and be recording a little bit more regularly now. So hopefully we'll be able to stay up with that. So
hopefully we'll be able to beat OBS into submission too.
yeah, so next time you can actually have video rather than just audio. So okay, well, thanks everybody for showing up, and we'll catch you next time.
I'm waving goodbye, but you can't see me. So
exactly. So.